I'm Alan Ross. I'm the managing editor of APC Technologies, and we are here at the NETA, the International Electrical Testing Association, their 2023 Power Tech Conference, doing interviews. My guest with me is the Director of Communications for APC Media, Rachel Linke. Rachel, thank you so much for being here.
Absolutely, Alan. Would miss it.
We're just going to have an interesting time with all of these people, and tell me what you like best about these interviews.
The best part about these interviews, I feel like, is that it really brings about a lot of great thought leadership, and I really just love how you make everybody feel so comfortable, Alan. You really try to get people to just be comfortable and in their own skin, and then so much great information comes out of it. So
let's see if we made people in the next interview comfortable. Enjoy. My next guest is Ben Clark. He is the Director of Training for RESA. We're going to talk about RESA in a bit, but first of all, Ben, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
Tell me how you got involved in the power industry, how long you've been doing it, and why.
Oh, wow. Yeah, so I started about 10 or so years ago. I wanted to become an electrician, follow my dad's footsteps. And
your dad was an electrician?
He was an electrician.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, he's a master electrician in the state of Maine. And I thought I was going to go to school and do a couple of years and then become an electrician. And I really wasn't following what he was doing. I was focused on myself, and he graduated with an electrical engineering degree.
You did?
He did.
He did, okay.
So he became a power system engineer.
Okay.
And so I was like, well, I might as well do that too. So I went and did 2 more years at the University of Maine, and now I'm an electrical engineer. So then I took an internship with Omicron Electronics.
Oh yeah,
great opportunity. Well. Yeah. Chuck Sweetser.
Gosh, he's one of the gurus of the industry.
Exactly. Yeah, I owe a lot to him in terms of learning and getting myself set up to where I am now. And so with that said, I took that internship with him, and I said I want to work for this company, and I went and worked for them for about 5 years, and then my first customer that I ever trained was RESA Power.
Really?
Yeah, they were, and they were some of my main customers for many years, and they finally broke me over and won me and said, hey, I want you to come work with us. So
that is a great story, because you know what that means. As a director of training, many times they're not practitioners.
Yeah.
Okay, they're training people, but they're not practitioners. You're a practitioner.
Yeah.
A double E. You started at the electrician thing. That's an arc that pays dividends in the long term. Excellent. So I want to talk now about training. Okay, sure. The practitioner level of training. There are a lot of people within RESA, within the industry, and RESA's buying companies, and you got all of a sudden you got a new company, you got to train those people.
Yeah.
You got to standardize your training. You got to make it like a training scale. You've got to train people up. Talk about the difficulty of doing that, and how does RESA go about doing it?
Yeah, so I think one of the places you have to start at is where everybody's competency is at. So that's something that we're developing more and more as we go through this, and as we acquire more companies and more technicians through organic growth, is that we need to track where they're already at, and then scale that against the work that we're winning and the work that we want.
Yeah.
And so assessing where they're at can help us determine this is what we need to train them on.
Yeah.
And we can combine that, not just where do we need them at, but where do they want to be?
Yeah.
Right? So looking at that from 2 approaches, I need technicians that can do this, but we also want to favor where the technician wants to be, because there may be a better fit within the organization, right?
Yeah.
So we have power system technicians who may want to become transformer technicians, or vice versa.
Yeah.
And so having that flexibility and that communication back and forth is important in terms of professional development, right? Because we want people to be happy, be satisfied with where they're at and where they're heading within the organization, because we're going to grow.
Yeah,
right.
And it's a tough job. Being a field service technician is a tough job wherever you are. Somebody once said, don't try to have a goldfish, because it's going to die, because you're going to be out there doing it. One of the other problems, I'm going to come back to that in a bit, but I want to add to the complexity of it right now. You don't have enough people. The industry doesn't have enough people, right?
Yeah.
So talk about the idea of recruiting and then getting that raw talent, where you're not now assessing where they are on their technical capability,
where they're already at,
and growing them. Now you got to even figure out if they can fog a mirror.
Yeah, we're having many conversations this week with the association, members of the association this week, in regards to the recruiting practices that the industry has done for so long of just taking people from other companies.
Oh, poaching.
Yeah, poaching, just displacing workers from one place and just putting them in another. It's not effective, because it's really rising our rates, and then we aren't competitive against people who aren't part of the association.
Yeah.
Right? So it's not feasible to just keep our rates where they're at, but also we're going to lose work, right?
Right.
So we need to be self-growers. We need to be going to high schools and tech schools and military personnel and finding out if they want to come join the power industry.
Yeah.
And if they do, then we train them up internally.
Yeah.
And they're our people, right? We don't have other people's people. We have our people that we've built, right? And that's the kind of culture that we want. So one of our big phrases that we use is one RESA. You know, we're acquiring a lot of companies. We want to join everybody together.
One
Same
RESA.
thing.
That's
One
excellent.
RESA.
I love that. I don't know whoever did that, but kudos to them. Right?
Yeah, I
That's
think
great.
our marketing team and our HR team really encourages that. That's where we want to be, and that's where we're heading. And I think really building the people from the ground up is how this industry can grow organically in terms of technicians. We have technicians that are just leaving the industry, right? And so there's a lot of other industries that find how we're training them and finding that, oh, we could use them. So we need this pipeline of new trainees and people that want to be part of the power industry.
Yeah.
You know?
You don't want to become the company that does the training that other people poach. Because that, you know, so what you just described is you got to attach them to the culture, train them up. So the culture means something to them.
Yeah.
They don't just run off. NISA is doing the program with the Department of Labor, an apprenticeship program, which I think is brilliant.
Yeah.
But they've been working on it 10 years, as long as you've been doing this.
Yeah.
What do you think an apprenticeship program? Do you have an internal apprenticeship program?
We do.
But what does this formal apprenticeship program mean?
Through NITA.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think it's a standardization, right? And so that's what the association is about, is providing resources for our members in order to grow themselves and grow the industry. And this apprenticeship program is part of that, right? Creating a standardized approach that anybody can take and apply to or be part of, such that they can have their own pre-built solution, right? So whether you're a smaller NITA company or a bigger NITA company, you can join this initiative and hopefully create some retention within the industry that, you know, hey, we're bringing new people on who have very little experience in the industry, or even if they have some, they can get partial credit into this apprenticeship program and allow them to build themselves and have a path forward. I think we get so drawn up in, okay, we hire a person, send them their first job, and then by the time that they're 100th job, we don't know where they're heading. Right?
Yeah.
And we're trying really hard to capture where they're heading.
Okay.
And this apprenticeship program is one of those things that's going to build that path for those people that are just coming into our industry that we don't have already. A lot of places don't have that already.
Yeah.
So how do we get them to go from being a level 1 technician to a level 2 technician to a 3, maybe a project manager? You know, one of the best stories we have is Les McManaway. He started as a breaker technician, and after 15, 16 years, he's now VP GM of RESA Power Service. So he has a pretty prolific experience, and that's a growth path that RESA created for him.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's also a little self-initiative, you know, and that's the kind of people that we're seeking as well.
Yeah. You know, it's interesting. Because of your engineering background, as a practitioner, you can relate more to the career pathing, because you did it. You know, you weren't going to be a double E, and you were never thinking about being a director of training, but here you are. It is that career path. Younger people today want to know that they have a career path, that there's some future for them, and they want to know that they're making a difference. So talk about, how do you instill, hey, because we have been a boring industry for so long.
Yeah.
You know, if you were a double E, you didn't go to work at a power company.
No.
You worked on electronics and computers. Yeah, Google. Yeah. Now, though, we're changing the world. We have the ability to make things better for everybody. So, and this is both retention and recruitment, because you got to use that same story. You're making a difference. And I think everybody, even my generation, gets excited about making a difference.
Yeah.
You know? A lot of the people that keep working after they're retired, this is my third, I've already retired twice. It's because I think we're making a difference. We're bringing education to the marketplace. Okay, we're on an elevator.
Yeah.
And I meet you for the first time. And I don't know what a RESA is, and they're doing switchgear over here. They're making absolutely certain, and every time it happens, I jump a little bit. Yeah.
The
But
old
we're on the
breaker
elevator.
after switches.
Talk to me about what RESA does, why I ought to, and trust me, I'm in the customer name. You know, do a commercial for RESA, value prop.
Yeah. So I think the thing that RESA wants to be, and we're really aiming for, is to be a one-stop shop for many solutions in terms of power systems, right? So we have a couple of key pillars of our organization. We have systems. They develop entire power systems for our customers, and then they introduce that, commission it to the customer, and then they also get on the maintenance plan. So that's where service comes in. That's the other pillar.
Right.
And then we have components. So when a customer's equipment fails or they just need a replacement, we have many locations all around the U.S. that have components in stock ready to go.
Okay.
Right. So those are some of our key functions. We also provide engineering services. So if there's arc flash studies, power quality studies, if you have trouble, nuisance trips, things like that, we have a response team that can go out and investigate those things, so that way our customers are serviced, right?
I'm sold. What do you not do?
What do we not do? If you ask my boss, nothing. We'll do anything that we can get our hands on, right? And there's a couple aspects to that. We want to make sure that, one, we're qualified to do the work, and if we're not, how can we get those people in?
Yeah.
And then two, can we do it safely? Right, and so we have a big safety culture in our company. We're growing. That's really has to be a focal point of our company, that we're not growing unsustainably. Right, and safety is a key component of that.
I'm going to be interviewing your CEO and your
Nordy.
And tell me what I should ask him.
What you should ask Nordy. I guess you should ask him about Charlotte.
Yeah.
I was really impressed with his public speaking capabilities.
Yeah.
And, he gave me some pointers at my last presentation. I've done a lot of presentations, so I think you're going to have a great talk with him. I think, just ask him about what his vision for RESA is, and I feel like you'll get a really strong answer from a really passionate man.
Excellent. Yeah. That passion, that's what keeps people working for us and doing that. But Ben, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Great interview.